Yo, what is up, everybody? Back again. Y'all already know what
Nail,
it is.
play that shit.
Oh yeah!
Oh man, this man got the background.
You already know, man. Get that money, man. Get that money. Take to the house. Ain't no easy money. Easy money. Well, it should be easy money, but like
Look,
I
knock
said,
on wood, knock on wood.
Look at the rookies we drafted. We got Dean and we got Davis. Two from Florida. It doesn't get better than that shit.
yeah, put that shit up.
As Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first,
You're
you're
last.
last.
Exactly.
Second place is at 2.
Definitely gonna make up for it.
Trust me. I need a sports podcast, man. I need it. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the I Need a Sports podcast. And if you're wondering, this looks a little different. It's because it is. We are live in person for the first time ever. Finally got our boy Chris back from Oklahoma. Got him Houston and figured, hey, NBA playing final games tonight. We might as well do the podcast in person. Gonna give y'all our all NBA teams, and we're gonna bring on some special guests, talk about playoff predictions live. Hopefully, Cam sticks to what he said, double down on the Kings over the Warriors. Because thank God we got that matchup. Gonna talk Braun versus Ja in Memphis. Got a whole lot to talk about, man, but happy to bring y'all this first episode live in person. Got the drinks flowing, gonna spark up a cigar, everything. You know the vibes, man. We're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna get into these NBA discussions. And yeah, man, let's get started. Like I said, we started with the all NBA teams, first through third team. This year is the last year they're doing it by position. Next year, it'll probably be a lot easier to do this when you can just pick positionless basketball. Who's the top 5 players in the league? Because somebody's getting screwed the way it is now. The past couple years, Embiid couldn't get first team all center because, Jokic won the MVP 2 times back to back. But this year, things look to be a little different. So yeah, man, let's get into it. We're gonna pass it to Cam first. He can start off with his first team, then Chris, and then it'll go to me last. And while Cam started, I'm gonna go ahead and spark up the cigar. Let's get this thing going, man.
All right, man. All right. So, y'all know, man. Y'all know me. This guy, I wasn't really big on him when he first came out. But Bryce was telling me, Kim, you crazy for not being big on this guy. And, he's the next best thing out of that other side of the road or whatnot. But my first guy, man, I got Luka, man. I think that's very respectful to him being on there. I feel like he has to be on there. You just look at what all he does for Dallas. You look at the numbers he put up crazy numbers this year. I know they missed the play in or the playoffs. They gave up. If you look at it, they gave up a lot of key pieces on their team just to get Kyrie. So I mean, it's kind of understandable, but when you have Kyrie and Luke on your team, you should be making the playoffs or not. So, my first guy is Luka. Y'all want me to say my whole list?
We can just go position all the way around. Yeah, we can go position all the way around. Also, y'all, if you wonder why we're looking over to the right, y'all can't see, but we got the live TV games playing in the background too. Like I said, Friday night, the last 2 playing games. Right now it's commercial break. Miami Heat are down 80 to 85, I think, to Chicago Bulls. So, and then next up, Thunder Timberwolves. Chris, as y'all know, OKC fan. So y'all just pray for him. He's gonna be watching with some high nerves tonight. But yeah, who you got as your point guard?
No,
first team All NBA.
I got Luka too. I think when it comes to those all NBA teams, those are driven just straight off stats, right? We don't have to deal with any type of winningness. Luka has dominated the league all around offensively for sure when it comes to the stats. So again, I agree with you. That's an easy pick in terms of who's the point guard for that first team.
Okay, well, I guess I have to be the one that's different. So for me, yeah, Luka had the stats, but another guy, in my personal opinion, had the stats, and he brought winning to a team that ain't won in like 18 years. I'm giving first team All NBA to my guy De'Aaron Fox, the hometown kid, man.
Wow.
Number one clutch scorer in the NBA all season, leading the Sacramento Kings. Him and DeMontis Sabonis have been probably one of the top 3 duos in the league this year. Yeah, by name power, they might not have it yet, but man, they're playing winning basketball. They got the Kings to 3rd in the West. They're gonna be hosting a playoff series at home versus the Warriors. Now it sucks because they did have a great year, and then you got to have the defending NBA champions who are literally just now fully healthy and have basically the same team they had last year as your first playoff series. But this is a regular season award, and De'Aaron Fox, he deserves it, man. He's been a bucket all year, like I said, leading that team. So for me, while Luka did have the stats, I mean, I know they did give up a lot of pieces, and you get Kyrie, but and they tanked. I mean, I guess they tanked. They did just get fined today, $750,000 for resting their players that last game. But you got to make it to the playoffs. I don't care. I mean, if you a player of Luka's caliber, MVP caliber player, you got to make it to the play-in. It just is what it is. So I have to ding him for that. He still had an amazing year, but De'Aaron has had an equally amazing year, and he's got his team 3rd in the West. And they were projected to finish last in their division. Not just being bad, but in their whole division. They won the Pacific West Division, got 3rd place in the West. So that's what I gotta go with. De'Aaron Fox.
That's interesting because it kind of goes against where I came from, all stats. Because we know Luka led in stats. So it's like your drive is kind of like similar to how they choose MVP almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we got our superstars, but the young guys, they really made some noise here. And it'd be messed up if you don't give them their due respect, because this is the same props that everybody's been getting for years. Like, oh, he led his team to this and he had the stats. Like, oh, he first team All NBA. I mean, what more could you say about De'Aaron Fox for him not being first team? Now, he might not be first team when these awards come out, but at the very least, he deserves second team All NBA. If you don't get that, then it's really a problem because, I mean, what more could you really want from the guy? I think he's averaging like around 25, 26, around somewhere in the 6-7 assist range. And like I said, most clutch scorer or best clutch scorer in the NBA all year. Like Cam said, if it's death beam pointed at Earth,
Oh my God.
he don't want Iguodala. He want De'Aaron Fox. He want De'Aaron Fox. So that's what I got to go with, man. But pass it back to Cam. Who you got as shooting guard first team All NBA?
All right, now this might catch y'all off guard, or it may not. But at shooting guard for my first team, I got Jaylen Brown, man. I got Jaylen Brown.
Okay, that's interesting. Because for me, I got him, but I didn't have him listed as a shooting guard.
Shooting guard.
I don't know what it's kind of, that's why I'm glad they're moving away from position, because it ain't really position basketball, but technically he should be a shooting guard, but they got him and Tatum listed as small forwards. So they against each other.
Yeah.
And I know for Jaylen Brown specifically, in his contract, if he gets an All NBA selection, he's due for a supermax. If not, he's not eligible. And that's a whole $50 million difference. So I hope he gets it because he's been balling. But that's gonna be interesting to see. I don't know where they put him at, but I'm not mad at that choice for sure.
I hope put him at shooting guard because, hey man, this guy been balling all year with Tatum. I know I said they've been kind of inconsistent, every here and now and then, which is true. I mean, they have been kind of inconsistent, but like Bryce said, these guys won more than over 50 games this year. So, Jaylen Brown, man, like I said, it might be surprised to y'all, it may not be, but I feel like he's been balling this year. I give him his respect. He's an all-star or superstar just like Tatum is. So I think it's time to give him his respect.
That's right.
The issue is that he kind of in the shadow of Tatum, so he probably don't get that. He don't get that look. So I think that's probably the only thing that's holding him back for real. Who you got, bro?
Me now. For me, I'm going crazy again. Y'all might look at me like, what in the world? But for me, first team shooting guard, another young cat, Gotta give it to Shea, man.
Got to.
Averaging 31 points in what was supposed to be a rebuild year with a team whose average age is like 22.8 years old.
Yep.
That like it really puts it in perspective because my Rockets, we've been in a rebuild for 4 or 5 years now. We've shown no progress.
Yeah.
OKC got all their draft picks, were bad for 1 year, competitive last year, but they still weren't in the play-in. 2 years later, they in the play-in with a chance to make the playoffs tonight, which I think they're gonna win. I'm calling it here live. I think they plus 5.5 underdog, but I think the Thunder are gonna pull it out tonight. But yeah, man, I gotta give it to him. He's a bucket. He literally drives that team. Like, yeah, you got Giddey, you got the Williams boys, you got Dort, but that team would be nowhere near what they are if they didn't have Shea. Like, he can go get a bucket whenever. And it really, if the Clippers don't win anything this year, we might be saying the Clippers might have made one of the worst trades in NBA history because with the talent OKC has right now, next year they're gonna bring back Chet. Hopefully he stays healthy. They got 2 first-round draft picks in this draft, so they can either use those or trade them for a superstar. Like maybe they go get a Jaylen Brown because they got the cap space to do it. OKC could really mess around and be in contention for the NBA Finals for real next year or in 2 years. And the Clippers, if they don't get one, it was a wash. So, yeah, man, give me SGA as the shooting guard, point guard, whatever you want to call it, those 2 guard spots. I'm giving them to the young boys this year. They beat out all the old heads. They were hooping. They got their teams in positions we never thought they'd be in. And I know it's just a plan for OKC, but who really thought OKC was going to be that good this year? No offense, Chris, but
no, bro. We saw the preseason estimates. I had OKC last. I had Houston at 10. So it's kind of funny. So it's backwards.
It's backwards. Yeah. My Rockets completely sold. So it is what it is.
No, that one it definitely belongs to XGA for sure. I think if we can give Luka that PG position and miss in the playoffs, we can definitely give it to SGA. Just for getting them this far. Because honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know how we've been winning any of these games. But I hate for them to take me this high and then drop me and break my heart. So we're gonna see. We can talk about that later.
So you got SGA too?
I got SGA.
Okay, bet.
It makes the most sense.
That's a bet. Okay. I'll go first on small forward. So small forward for me, like I said, it sucks because Jaylen Brown kind of in the shadow. So it could be him if he was on a different team maybe. But I gotta go with his teammate, Jason Tatum. I know we get on him for consistency, but at the same time, after losing his coach in a crazy scandal right before the season starts, he's led his team back to second place in the East, right behind the Bucks. He scored the most points in the NBA this year. So as inconsistent as he is, he's still doing something right. I mean, I still think the team is really just a point guard away, and I don't think they can ever really win it all with Marcus Smart. But Jason Tatum, I mean, he is the future of the league. When Bron and KD and Steph finally call it quits, I feel like he's going to have a real good argument to be argued as the number 1 player in the league, up there with Luka, maybe, Shea in the future, all of them. But, I mean, he's got as good an argument as anybody. He's been a winner since he stepped foot in this league, went toe-to-toe with Bron his rookie year, took him to 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he really hasn't slowed down since. They're always contenders over there in Boston, and they'll get Philly in a matchup because I don't see them losing the first round. If they beat Philly, they'll be right back in the Eastern Conference Finals, and if they play Milwaukee, that series can go either or. He averages damn near 40 versus them this year, so, and man, dude's a bucket. 6'9" guard, but he's a small forward for all NBA purposes. But that's who I got, man.
I think I don't know, man. Maybe it's because they are one of the most winningest teams this season for sure. Oh man. This year's positionless, right?
No, they moved to that next year. They just voted in the new CBA.
See, and that's what bothers me. But I guess I can save that for the second. With that, I mean, you got to give Jason Tatum his respect. If he's not on the first, he's really not on any of the other ones. So yeah, I have to agree, Jason Tatum. First All NBA team, first All NBA. Yeah, I really have nothing to say there. I think Bryce broke it down pretty well.
Same thing. Same.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it? It's hard when ain't much to talk about because y'all agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I low-key thought Cam might have came with something else.
See, but I don't know. I think
I
know
would
what
have.
you mean.
I wouldn't have been mad if you, but you put Jaden as shooting guard, so that makes sense. Okay. So what about power forward? Because this one, yeah. I mean, that's no question.
40
Yeah, no question.
on a Tuesday at 4:30.
Just a regular day
Just
for
a
y'all.
regular day.
So power forward, y'all. It's really no argument.
No argument.
Any other year, he's really an MVP. It's to the
Yeah.
point now where he's kind of in the LeBron treatment,
Yeah.
where he can average a triple double. He can get 40 a night, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks, 10 assists. We probably not gonna give him the MVP because it's like, we expect you to do this at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like, So yeah, Giannis, it's a wash. Everybody, if you don't got Giannis as your first team power forward, I want what you're smoking because obviously it's something better than this cigar. But yeah, man, is that a we live outdoors, so we gotta do it. I think that's some beetle or something.
Right
here, bro.
I
Yeah, it's up there on the window now. Oh, man. So if y'all see us fighting with this beetle, y'all just turn the other way.
Yeah, no.
And then
You got me on the screen.
so with that, we rounded out with the center. It's got to go to the MVP, huh?
Yep. Essentially, it has to go to the MVP.
So Cam, start with you because I feel like you'll go with the right decision, but at the same time, I don't know. Sometimes you be saying some other stuff.
Nah, for sure. It's Embiid, hands down, easily Embiid. Like you said, MVP has to be first team. He's MVP this year. You know.
I don't know where with you.
He did MVP this year, and you know he was the best center this year. So, you know, I got Joel Embiid first team.
But the last episode, you was still arguing for Jokic.
Well, because you know Embiid is set in stone MVP right now.
Oh, okay.
So
Not for everybody. I mean, he got the most votes right now. We'll see. But the last episode, he said that in our group chat, he argues me down about it all the time. When we get in front of the camera, he changes up on us completely. So I just want to let you know. So
they making sense.
let Embiid have one bad game in the playoffs this year. He gonna be talking the most.
oh yeah,
Already
for
know.
sure. For sure.
He talking about no excuse now, but Jokic get excuse.
That don't make no
No,
sense.
it makes perfect sense. He has to. Embiid is okay. I feel like Embiid and Jokic are in the playoffs are kind of like the same. Not in a way that you know defensively wise.
In terms of like them actually performing.
Yes.
Yeah, they both need to win.
They both need to win. You know, Embiid has his struggles and Jokic has his struggles.
Okay, so I'm just saying, I agree with what you just said, but you make it seem like, oh no, this all on a B. He got everything to lose, but Jokic, he alright. So is it that, or is it what you just said, where they both got to perform? Like for me, yes, they both got to make the finals this year. Really, I need to see Jokic in the finals just because all the mess that's going on with the Western Conference. He got the most solid team throughout the year. For the East, if Embiid can make it to the Eastern Conference Final, I'll give them props because I don't think they can make it to the finals. But yeah, he needs to theoretically, but I wouldn't be mad if he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost.
I don't think
he's made it to the Western Conference Finals.
I mean, I would cut him some slack because he made it, but
you want him to make it to the finals.
He needs to make it. He needs to.
We're like kind of like different on that. Like kind of, I feel like Embiid. I'm okay with him getting to the conference finals because you know, like you said, we don't expect them to beat the Bucks, but it's also
who do you not expect the Nuggets to not beat?
That's why that's what I'm saying. When we were talking about the West versus East, I feel like the West is so deep because it's like Denver can dead ass lose to a 7-seed Lakers team. That's how deep the West is, and Denver could for sure easily lose to the Lakers team. That Lakers team.
They could, but at the same time,
they can lose to that Warriors team. They can lose to the Kings.
They could lose to them all, but I'm saying from a consistency standpoint, yeah, they kind of flamed out towards this end of the year, but the West made so many moves at the trade deadline. Like
Yeah.
they gotta perform. Like this year's they best year. They put the team around Jokic finally where he got shooters everywhere. I'm not saying there's no excuse, but it's almost no excuse. Like if there's any year to get there, you should get here this year where the West is relatively weak as a whole. Like
They got
star power,
yeah,
but they don't got team power besides Memphis
But
and Sacramento.
how is it not good as a whole when the Lakers are a 7 seed? That's like
It's
shouldn't
just,
that like that show you how deep the West
if you
is?
look at, like
Because the
deep-wise
Lakers
star power.
weren't a good team until they made the moves at the trade deadline,
Yeah.
and then we still don't know how good they are because they haven't shown that much consistency yet. You still look at them like it'd be like times or moments in the game where like y'all should be playing better than this. Third quarter, AD got 6 shots, and it's like, why does AD have 6 shots when Troy Brown has 7 threes? Like it don't add up.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, in theory, we want to say like, oh yeah, Bron and AD should be able to handle them, but this season at least, the Nuggets have been the better team, and Jokic is a 2-time back-to-back MVP, and he got the team he needed. He should be able to do what it needs to be done.
No, for sure. But I just look at it as the 76ers only have to get through 2 teams. The Denver Nuggets have to get through 6 teams.
Okay. I hear. Look. We're gonna get into more of this in the playoffs. Okay, well, we're gonna touch on this.
We're supposed to be talking about.
We're supposed to talk about NBA team. We done got so much. We done got sidetracked. We're gonna go back. I was like, we're not supposed to be talking about this. We done got sidetracked. Okay. So we just finished the first team. We just finished the first team. So we wrapped it up with him being that first team. We all agree on that. Okay, so second team, we can knock that out, starting with center. I'm assuming we all got Jokic.
Yeah.
Because obviously if Embiid get first, Jokic got to get second. And like I said, next year they move into positionless. Some people aren't in agreement with that, like as far as NBA media goes, I know Nick Wright isn't a big fan of it, but me personally, I'm a fan of it because like for the last 2 years, Embiid has been a first team all level player, but he can't get first team because Jokic got the MVP and he plays the same position. And it just makes the most sense in today's NBA game because really everybody can do everything. So like the 5 best players deserve the 5 top spots, especially now when you got contracts with certain incentives written in where like, hey, if they get an all team selection, they're eligible for Supermax. Like if the player's a Supermax player, like he deserves to get his money. He deserves to be an all NBA. So yeah, we get in the second team. We got Jokic at center. Give y'all an update. 1 minute 25 ticking right now. Miami is up 93-91. Jimmy Butler with the ball on the wing. You know, I gotta get into my live commentating bag. Shoots from 3. But Shrews did just bang in the 3. They up 5 with a minute left. 28. That was a tough. He's 7 for 12 from the 3 tonight. That might have been a dagger.
So who not performing right now for Miami? Why does he not?
Adebayo. Last time I see, he was like 1 for 9 from the field.
Exactly, getting hot though.
Oh, but he missed. That's a tough miss. Okay, yeah, 1 minute now.
Jimmy has the ball.
Yeah. Miami just rebounded a miss. Oh, yeah, they might.
What is crazy is the Bulls beat them, you know,
every game this regular season. And the funny thing is, Miami's up 5, y'all. The spread was 5. It got pushed down to 4.5 because the money.
Oh,
wow! Caruso just fouled Strus on the corner 3. Yeah, that's the game.
Yeah,
and that might even ruin the spread for the +5.5, +4.5, whichever you took. I personally stayed away from this one.
I stay away from everything tonight. I can't.
All my money's riding on baseball tonight. But yeah, that Strus looks like he's about to put the dagger in.
Pretty bad.
And that's actually kind of some poetic justice. Strus gets fouled on the corner 3. I know if y'all remember last year's Eastern Conference Final, he hit that 3 but was out of bounds.
Oh yeah.
When they could have won the series versus Boston and went to the finals. This time it's he's winning the playing game and they get the right to go get their ass whooped by Milwaukee in 4 games. But okay. So that game basically over. But second team, power forwards. Who y'all got? This is actually an interesting one. I know who I got, but it's really up in the air. Who wanna go?
I go first. I got Laurie.
Laurie Markkinen?
Yeah.
Hey,
I got him.
I actually left him off on all of them.
Yeah.
Hey man,
And
He has.
he deserved it.
he do.
He deserved.
That's what I'm
he
saying.
did.
It could go either. Like I really don't know where the voters are gonna go with this because he do deserve it. I wouldn't knock it if he got it.
Either second or third. It was either between him or Julius for me.
Yeah,
So
no, you're right.
Okay, so that's
You're right.
I got Julius.
Yeah,
Julius,
no,
see, it's either.
But I kind of agree.
Lloyd was a dog.
I gave it to Julius because for me personally, even though it might not need to be fair, I'm factoring team success too. Because like, if you playing well and it translates to your team playing well,
Yeah.
I gotta get to the Knicks got 5th place in the East this year. Julius, after the year he had last year, and the Knicks fans were on his ass, and he was, thinking about he needed to leave New York. He came back this year. And he looked like the Julius we saw 2 years ago. So I gave him the nod over Laurie for that.
Yeah. It has to be Randall.
Randall.
It has to.
I respect that. Like I said, it was out.
But they both contributed, I feel like, to their teams kind of similar, right? So that's
yeah. I mean, Laurie had Utah in first place at one point.
Bro was making highlights out.
Don't forget, at one point, Utah and Portland were the 1
Right,
and 2 seed. Like that's really crazy to think. And the Lakers were like 2-10 at that time. Yeah. They were at the top. So
he was like, "Portland's gonna do good this year."
Yeah, how things can change in the season. Man. That's fair. I wouldn't knock Laurie for sure.
Yeah.
Small forward for me. This is where I put Jaylen Brown. Second team. It's not first team, but with the all team nod, he still gets the super max eligibility. So that's what I got. But I got him as a small forward. So I don't know. I know you have him shooting guard. Would you put him there? Or who you got is yours?
LeBron James. No,
See,
that's LeBron James, bro.
See, I got LeBron on mine, but I was gonna say like a 2A, 2B guy because I don't know if LeBron got enough games to.
That's why I didn't put him on second because I didn't think.
And that's why I mean, because honestly, I was pushing for even first team, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
He's had a first team caliber year.
He's had a good year. They just.
That's the other issue thing. So next year, of course, I mean, I don't know if y'all keep up, but the new CBA position list for All NBA, and you have to play 65 games minimum to be eligible for awards. So it's gonna be real interesting to see how people do that next year. Like if they 1 game away, they said you might be seeing players do like Michael Bridges did for his 83rd game, check in, tip off foul, and then sub back out, and that counts as your 65th game. Now if they all do that, it wouldn't surprise me if the NBA try to go change it and be like, no, you have to play like a certain amount of minutes for the game count. So who knows? But I'm not mad at LeBron. He definitely deserves it. I mean, 38 years old, averaging damn near 30 points. 30, I mean, it sucks he had to miss a lot of time with the injury, but I mean, he came back from the injury off of something that, I mean, most humans would need surgery. He went to the LeBron and foot doctors, said he good, and he's got right back to balling. Got his team to the 7th seed, so hey, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it there. What about shooting guard? Who y'all got a shooting guard?
That's when I would play Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
See, this is where I got. I'm gonna tell you my point guard too, but I got Fox and Shea in my second team.
Okay.
I feel like those other 2 guys that I named, Jaylen Brown and Luke, if Jaylen Brown can be a shooting guard for the All NBA, but I feel like those 2 had just better years than those 2 guys I just named or whatever. And I know that winning should get in the factor, like play a factor into it, but I don't know if the voters will do it. So I'm trying
to. I don't think they should. I don't think they usually do.
I don't think they usually do this. So I'm kind of like thinking in the mind of like a voter's mindset, but also trying to put my mindset into it also. So yeah, I got Shea at shooting guard, and my point guard. I'm gonna tell you, I got Fox.
Okay, that's fair. What about you, Chris?
Point guard, second team. I don't have a choice.
Me, I got Donovan Mitchell, man. He's been balling out. 71-point game. I forgot how many 40-point games he's had. It sucks because I really feel like that Cleveland team can honestly lose this series versus the Knicks. I don't think they will, but I could see if it happened, them losing. I really think that Cleveland team just not consistent enough right now to be up there with him. I really feel like it's another Utah situation where Donovan is going to do his thing and try his hardest to carry, but the team is just going to fail him at the end of the day. But other than that, I mean, that dude is kind of gone a little under the radar, but he's been balling out all year carrying that Cleveland team. I expected more from Darius Garland this year. He's been great in certain spots and decent in others. I would like to see more consistency from him next year to really help Donovan Mitchell be that 2 guard. But yeah, man. So I got Donovan Mitchell. So does that help you? Yeah, I got a bottle open my keys for you. But does that sway your opinion any? Or
my issue is that, like, yeah, Donovan Mitchell. For me, honestly, Donovan Mitchell would have been on my third team. But my issue is that the guys that I want to put there, you just mentioned that, what, 66, 65, 66 games. See, like, for me, if that wasn't a thing, I'm choosing Curry.
Well, it's not a thing this year, so you can put Curry up.
Okay, so I would choose Curry then.
That's fair.
When he wasn't playing, bro, they was losing. And when he was playing, he was scoring.
He was. They were still.
You dead? You're a grown man.
I'm not doing Oh my god.
You trying to like whisper?
Yeah, he was like we done on camera with the mic and everything. Edit that out. Edit that out.
That's gonna be one of the clips. Oh man.
Okay. So Kev, he said his point guard. Who you got for point guard? Me, this is where I put Luka. I couldn't give him first team because of the way the season ended. He was kind of lackadaisical on defense, and then the whole he not feeling it and he just not having fun, all that other stuff. So I had to knock him down a peg. But I mean,
and you had Fox first team, right?
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, Luka still. It's not like we can sit there and act like he didn't do his thing and average 32 points a game, and he's liable to go off for 40, 50 whenever he wants to. He had the 60-point triple-double game where he brought them back and won in overtime versus the Knicks. Like, he had some legendary moments this year for sure. It just all went south after the trade deadline. So whatever moves Dallas needs to make next year, I hope Cuban makes them so they can keep him. Lucas said he's happy in Dallas, but let another year go south and he's eligible to move on. He might be moving on, and it'd be interesting to see what teams would be interested in the Luka sweepstakes and what kind of trade package that requires. But that's what I got as my second team point guard.
I changed my second team point guard. I'm gonna change it to Fox, and I'm gonna kick off the third team point guard at Curry. I'll put Curry third.
Okay. All right.
Because they pretty much average the same amount of points per game. Just Fox is winning more.
Yeah,
so you gotta respect it. And
I could
have put a third team because he would have made third team if that was the case, but I can't do that.
Well, that wraps up second team. The Heat and Bulls game just finished up. Heat win 102-91. So if you were a Chicago plus 5.5 better, I'm so sorry to you. It looked good all game long, and then they completely sold you at the end.
Bring me my money.
Gonna change the channel to ESPN because this OKC game finna kick off. Might have already started. It's supposed to start at 8:30. It's 8:30. Okay, it ain't started yet.
Well, I was doing something to his hair, man.
I'm dead. But okay, now we wrap it up on third team. Third team center, man.
Man, my third team center. All right. So if they, now not really counting like how many games you played, or if that doesn't matter or not or whatnot, I would say AD for third team. But if not, I'm gonna go Sabonis.
Okay, that's fair. What about you?
Yeah.
Sabonis or AD?
Yeah. No, Sabonis.
Sabonis. Okay, I have Sabonis too. The pair of that duo, him and De'Aaron, they literally taking the Kings to new heights. Them in the PNR game is honestly like deadly. It's gonna be interesting to see how the Warriors play that, because I know they're gonna be trying to get Curry in them switches and get them in the pick and roll game with that. I don't think I'll save it for the playoffs, but yeah, Sabonis for me. I mean, he's really like not to say he's a Jokic, but he's a lesser version of Jokic. They ultimately do the same thing.
Honestly,
yeah, they do the same thing. He's just as good of a passer, if not a better passer than his dad. And he can knock down a jump shot here and there. And he just, like I said, just been a vital piece of Sacramento turning that whole franchise around. And now it's gonna be interesting to see if that can translate to playoff success. But yeah, so bonus for me at the 5 and the 4. Let's see, the 4 for me. So this is how I ended up leaving Laurie off. And I don't know, maybe he don't even count as a power forward, but to me he does because that's when his team is healthy. That's where he's at, and he's in the defensive player of the year running. I think he should win it, but I don't know if he will because I saw votes for Mobley ahead of him. But I got Jaren Jackson Jr.
Okay.
I think if you're gonna be in the running for defensive player of the year, I feel like it's only right that you make an All NBA team. Mm-hmm. So it sucks that Laurie kind of got left off in my list, even though he's had an All NBA caliber year. Like I said, Jaren Jackson, balling defensive anchor of that team, especially now that they've had Steven Adams out for the last 2 months. He's not going to be there in the playoffs that just came out. So he's really going to have to anchor down, stay out of foul trouble. That is the one thing. Like, he has problems with getting into foul trouble, but he's an elite shot blocker. He can stretch the floor, and he's helped carry that Memphis team. When Ja was out, him and the other guys were getting it done, and he was the leader most nights in scoring, rebounding, and blocks. So I had to give it to JJ Jr., man. Dude's a baller, even though sometimes I hate watching him play because I think he takes too many outside shots. But I give it to him.
And that point that you made last is why I left him off. For me, it's just hard to watch him. I like watching Memphis, but I can't watch I don't feel like he's always the most consistent, and it's hard for me to leave Laurie off considering the season that he had, especially considering the other awards that he could win. I don't want to leave. Like, it's hard. How do you say Laurie can win another award, but he can't be on an All NBA team? You know what I mean? So, but both. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not mad. I don't know where these voters are gonna go.
Yeah,
because some of these voters are like.
Because Shea really should be first.
He should.
He really should, and he probably won't. He probably get like second.
Because some of these voters, it's just regular NBA media like Jalen Rose. Yeah. But then there's other people that are like specific to teams, which I really don't understand because then it could be like, don't you have bias including your, but like, I think it was some Utah guy, he had Kessler for rookie of the year. He ruined Paolo getting rookie of the year unanimous because he voted for Walker Kessler. And so Paolo got 49 of the 50 votes and Walker Kessler got 1.
That's crazy. So because he get blocks. He averaged what, like how many blocks?
He averaged like 9, 8, and 3 or something like that. People, just some stat news tweeted out today like no one's ever had the stat line with like 60% field percent, and then someone quotes like Robert Williams literally had this but better with 73%. So it's like, he's good, but I wouldn't give him a nod. But like, it's stuff like that. So I don't know where the voters will go with this. But yeah, man, that's what I got in power forward. 7.5. Small forward. This is where I got Braun. He can obviously be second team easily. For me, it was just the games played, and the Lakers were pretty bad until this trade deadline. And then, unfortunately for him, he got injured after the trade deadline, and they had to get it together while he was out. I mean, 38 years old, averaging 30 points, like we said before. What more can you not to do for, like, we're never going to see a player like this again. Like, to come in with the expectations he came in with and to still be doing it at this high of a level at 38 years old, it's out of this world. So that's what I got. I got LeBron, third team, small forward.
I'm gonna say my power forward. My power forward, third team. I got Julius Randle. 25 and 10. That's the averages. He's a dog when he played, kind of a little bit on the inconsistent side, but he's one of the leaders of that Knicks team. I'm a believer in that Knicks team. I said it, beginning of the year. Say it now. I'm a believer in that Knicks team. He got him to the 5th seed, like Bryce was saying earlier. I got him as my power forward. Now for my small forward, this might surprise y'all. It's kind of like a crazy take. I got DeMar.
I didn't even think of that. You put him at small forward?
I got him at small forward.
Yeah, because
No, I really thought he was a shooting guard for sure.
don't Zach can play the shooter?
Yeah, yes. They
Yeah.
both. That's we next year gonna be the best
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
where it gets tough. Well, nah, I can't. He been
He
hooping.
was hooping. He was hooping all year, man. He was hooping all year. So he at least led this Bulls team to like a play-in or two. They got a tough L just now to the Heat, but I mean, the whole year he was consistent. The whole year he showed up. The mid-range maestro. He gonna post you up and shoot right over you for sure. So I got DeMar for my small forward.
I got Kawhi.
Why?
Like every time he was on the floor, they won. Every time he was on the floor, he was the old Kawhi, and now he's expected to sit here and try to bring this Clippers team, through a playoff run without PG.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if that's the guy that you're gonna put on the on that throne, saying like, "Hey, this is your job now," even without your sidekick, you got to put him on the All NBA team because he's been performing. Like if you expect that of him, that means that he's able to do it, and he's been doing it. So I got Kawhi.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, shooting guard.
DeMar was a good one.
You go. You can go first for shooting guard, Chris.
Oh gosh. Ooh. Yeah. It has to be Devin Booker. It has to be. It has to be Devin Booker. Is it because he didn't play a lot of games?
No, he played. I mean,
I
don't know. Maybe it's because I saw him hoop in person, bro.
I'm dead.
The guy is a bucket.
He is a bucket.
He's a stupid bucket.
I left him off though,
Jeez.
which is tough. I know.
Who you put? And
Nah, I got D Mitch.
oh wait, did I say D Mitch yet? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I had D Mitch on my second.
If I didn't say D Mitch, I'll put him 13. If I did say him, then I stand as I am.
I got D
Mitch
Mitch.
is 71.
D Mitch was.
You got D Mitch at
Yeah.
third. Okay, oh, that's fair.
I think the other two guys, like I said, were better than him.
It's small for it, yeah.
And Jalen Brown and Shea, but I got D Mitch at that shooting guard.
Okay.
Oh, no, I got Damian as shooting guard.
Oh, well, see, yeah, this were the two guard thing for me. I didn't like do position, shooting guard, point guard. I just put two guards who deserved it.
Yeah.
I got Steph and Damian. Damian, because, Portland is terrible, but I mean, any realistic NBA fan wouldn't have expected anything from that Portland team.
Yeah.
But Dame was trying his hardest to carry. Hopefully, they just trade him and start a rebuild. It's time to give it up.
Bro.
I mean, if they trying to rebuild, he said then he'll go. So they just need to go ahead and accept their fate as a rebuilding team and get him and get whatever picks they can while he's still valuable.
Yeah,
and then Steph, because like you said, he's had a great year, but the Warriors just haven't been a great team. And Steph came in, they were able to win games, but Steph was a part of them road games too, and they were not winning. Second worst road record in the league, so I had to knock him for that. But I mean, it's gonna be, they got a chance to avenge all of that regular season mess and go on a run in the playoffs that'll make everybody mad because nobody expected the Warriors to be good. But I wouldn't put it past them. We'll see. But yeah, that's who I got as my third team guard, Steph and Damian, and that wraps up the All NBA teams for me, man. So, what about you, Kim? Who you got as the point guard?
Who I got as the point guard? I left him out, man. But I got Trae Young. Hey, man, he was balling. Yeah, I mean, he averaged like 25 or 26. Also was with top 3 in assists with like 10.4 assists per game. I don't really understand why they're trying to trade him, but I kind of get it. If you're not winning with him, then trade him off, get some pieces, get some picks or whatnot, and try to get a rebuild in. But I feel like he's one of the better younger point guards in the league right now. I feel like he had a phenomenal year this year. I'm gonna go Trae Young. Now, if Steph plays enough games, I'll have him at 13. Because obviously Steph was Steph this year. He did his thing when he was playing and healthy. So if Steph has enough games, Steph for sure at All NBA third team. But I got Trae Young, man. Trae Young.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's just he does average the points. He does share the ball. He's been top 2 or top 3 in assists every year he's been in the league. But he just can't play any defense, and he turns over the ball a little too much for me. And Atlanta's been garbage all year. They did get into the 7th seed because they beat Miami. That's really just because Miami can't shoot the ball to save their lives, I feel like. But I mean, I really think because he's already run one coach out of town. Next year, I feel like they need to at least give him that year to see if he can work with, what is it, Snyder or whatever, the old coach from Utah they got now.
Mm-hmm.
But if that don't work, I think you got to trade him while you can, and get something.
That sounds like James Harden. I mean, James
Yeah.
Harden was.
I mean,
out of town. He ran.
He
coach out
was.
of town.
I'm saying
So-
they're 2 different caliber players. We talking about James Harden, who was MVP caliber
Yeah.
for like 4 years straight.
But that's who Trae Young is to ATL though.
Fact.
Like,
He is, but I'm saying he's not as good as James Harden. Like James
No,
Harden
but-
was.
But if they trade him,
But
they
he
start
ran-
it over, bro.
He ran coach. He did. He ran 2 coaches out of town for sure. For sure.
I never thought of ATL like. They one of the teams I just haven't thought of that actually were into rebuild mode soon.
They're not. They wouldn't
You
be
don't
a
think that's
rebuild mode.
rebuild?
They would get him for. They got DeJounte now. So if DeJounte needs to be, I'm saying if they choose to move off Trey, DeJounte would be the point guard. It's not like he wasn't a
But
point
they
guard
would
for San
need
Antonio.
somebody else though.
That's why
Which
you
would
trade him
probably
and get good pieces that go with DeJounte. Because
So
obviously,
you can build around DeJounte.
I'm not saying build around, but you try to put a different team. Because obviously, with the team they're trying to build with Trey, it's not working.
Yeah.
Him and Clint,
But they need
it can't
another
go.
superstar though.
They do.
And
Which is
Trey's
why
not going to get them a superstar that's going to suffice to help DeJounte. DeJounte was like somebody else, like a D Mitch or like a.
he's not even a demon. That's why I didn't agree with it from the start. I was like, this is one of
He's
the
the third guy.
Damn
He's
it.
like
Then in the
He's
Minnesota
really-
trade were the
I've
2 worst trades in my opinion in the
He was.
offseason. They didn't get any better, and they gave up pieces that were vital
Yeah.
to their team.
not like play style wise, but I look at him like as a CJ McCollum. Like he's the
Yeah.
third option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
And
don't.
as good as Trey is, I feel like for a championship team, Trey got to be the second option.
He
They
gotta be
need a
second
superstar
option, yeah.
that can really get a bucket
Mhm.
with some
Yeah.
size, and
Yeah, big man that leads them or something.
they need a defense. I mean, I guess DeAndre Hunter is technically their defense, but they need some more defense because Trey's gonna always be lacking in the defensive department. But yeah, man. OKC Minnesota just took off. Minnesota just got a bucket. I didn't see who scored. Who scored it?
What's that dude name in the post right now? That's guarding Shea.
Kyle Anderson? No, who is that?
No,
No, that's
he's
that
upstairs.
Nikhil Walker. Is that who that is?
I think so.
Nikhil Walker Alexander.
But
Oh, that's Shea. That's Shea. What's it called? That's Shea cousin.
for real, that's his.
Alexander?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know they were.
Or maybe it's another guy's cousin. I think it's another guy's cousin.
Oh, that's interesting. Well,
Who's guy's cousin?
yeah. So that wraps up our All NBA teams.
I need it.